Hey everyone, this is April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a traditional granny square. This is a granny square I made that has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. I'm going to show you how to start that. There are various ways that you can begin the very center of a granny square. I'm going to show you my favorite method, which is a magic circle. But if you have another way that you like to begin circles or squares, you're welcome to use a different method. So to start with the magic circle, we have the end of our yarn here. This end is going back to the skein. I'm going to lay it over the 2 first fingers of my right hand, wrap it around. Then I'm going to take those 2 strands together off. I'm holding them with my left hand. I'll place my hook through that circle, and then this is the yarn that's going back to my ball of yarn. I'm going to wrap that around my hook, pull it through the circle, and then I will chain 1, and that's going to hold my circle closed. Okay, so that's the magic circle. I'm going to chain 1 more time because that's what's needed for my granny square. I'm going to tighten this circle up a little bit so it's not quite so big. Okay, now I'm going to double crochet in the circle 3 times. All right, now I will chain 2. This chain 2 is going to become a corner space. Then I'll yarn over and double crochet in the ring or circle 3 more times. When you're crocheting into this circle, note that you're crocheting over these 2 strands together, the tail and the circle. Now I'll chain 2 to make another corner, yarn over, and double crochet 3 more times in the circle. And then I will chain 2 for another corner, yarn over, double crochet 3 more times in the circle. So now I have 4 groups of 3 double crochet stitches. I'm going to take my tail here and pull on it, and that's going to close that center hole and make it smaller. Now I have 3 corner chain spaces. This last corner I'm actually going to close by yarning over, going into the top of my first stitch and making a half double crochet stitch. So I'll bring the yarn over the front of my hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. That winds up looking a lot like a chain 2 space, but the great thing about it is that that means my yarn and hook are in the very center of my corner space. So that is the perfect place to begin my next round. So the second round begins with chain 2, and then I'm going to yarn over and double crochet in this space 3 times. That's 3. All right, now I'm going to skip the stitches here, yarn over, and I'm going to start working in this next corner chain space. Right here on the rightmost edge of it, I'm going to make 3 double crochet stitches. Then I will chain 2. This is going to be my corner chain space. I'll yarn over, and right back into that same chain space now I'm going to put 3 double crochet stitches on the other side of it. So back into the corner chain space, 3 more double crochet stitches. Then I'll yarn over and go to the next corner chain space and then do the same thing over again. 3 double crochet stitches. Chain 2. 3 more double crochet stitches. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Skip these 3, yarn over, same thing in this corner space. Now the next corner chain space is this one, and I actually already did half of it by making this group of double crochet stitches here. At this point I'm going to yarn over and place 3 double crochet stitches on this side of that corner chain space. And then to finish that final corner, I will yarn over, go into the very first stitch and make a half double crochet stitch. And that completes round 2. Okay, at this point, I'm going to show you how to change colors. Let me grab some scissors. If you want to change colors between rounds the way that I did in this square, you need to cut your tail at least 6 inches long, so you'll have plenty to weave in. That keeps things from coming undone. And then you're going to fasten off by wrapping that around your hook, pulling it through the chain, through the loop, and then pull it all the way through and pull it snug. All right, so let's say now I want to change to this purple. So I'm going to make my slip knot by making a loop, bringing the end under it, grabbing the line through the middle of the circle, and pulling it away from the 2 ends. Then I'll place my hook through this loop and pull on both ends to tighten it up a little. Okay, there are 2 ways that you can join a new color. First, I'm going to show you my preferred method. I like it better because it's more sturdy. So I'm just going to go into this corner chain space just left of where I fastened off, so over here, and grab my working yarn, and I'm going to slip stitch here. And then I'll grab this purple end and pull it. That's just going to make that slip knot smaller, so it's not going to show much, slip stitch, not slip knot. Okay, and then I will chain 2, and then at this point I just continue as I did before. So I will, now this is going to be my 3rd round. On the 4th round I'll show you a different method for joining new colors. Okay, so I'm going to place 3 double crochet stitches here. Now I will yarn over, skip this group of stitches, And I'm going to go in the space between these two groups of stitches. So this space here, it's not a chain space, it's just the space between these two groups. I'm going to go in that space and make 3 double crochet stitches there. Then I will yarn over, skip this group of stitches, and in my corner I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last round. 3 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, 3 double crochet stitches. There's my first corner. Now going around the square, everything's going to be just the same as it was along this side. I'm going to skip these stitches, place 3 double crochet stitches in this space, skip these 3 stitches, 3 double crochet stitches, chain 2, 3 double crochet stitches here. Okay, so the same thing all the way around. I'm placing my stitches in the spaces, not in the stitches themselves. Now I'm nearly finished with this one. I'm back to my first corner. So I'll yarn over, skip this group of 3 double crochet stitches, and I'm going to go into this chain space and work 3 double crochet stitches. And then I will yarn over, go into the first stitch and work a half double crochet stitch to join. Okay, I'm going to change colors again, so I'll leave a 6-inch tail and fasten off. And I'm going to show you another way that you could potentially join in your new colors. So some people do not care for how this first group of double crochet stitches looks like it has 4. This is where I did the slip stitch and chain 2. If that bothers you, since all the other groups have 3, you might prefer what we call a standing double crochet join. I don't prefer the standing double crochet join just because I don't feel like it's as sturdy, but you can do whichever method you prefer. So again, we'll make a slip knot. Place that on the hook. Okay, the trick to a standing double crochet join is that for a bit, you're going to need to hold this loop still on your hook. So you're going to use the index finger of the hand holding your hook to keep it still. You'll wrap the yarn around your hook, and then with the yarn behind the hook, you're going to place your hook into that corner space where you're going to join. And then you'll take up your working yarn with these 2 loops on your hook. You'll bring the yarn across the front of your hook, pull up a loop through that space, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So it allows you to just start with a double crochet stitch. The trick is just making sure that you hold those loops there, otherwise it will just untwist when you pull on your working yarn. Okay, so if you choose to join this way, you now continue by making 2 more double crochet stitches in this corner space to make your first group of 3. So there is my first group of 3. Now at this point we are going to be repeating the same thing over and over. On the last round I showed you how we were going to place our groups of 3 stitches in the spaces between the groups below. So we'll skip these stitches, place a group of 3 here, skip these stitches, place a group of 3 here, and the corner will be the same every time. So I'll yarn over and place a group of 3 stitches here. And then I'll yarn over, skip these stitches, and place a group of 3 here. And then the corner is going to be just the same as it has been every other time. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. That finishes my first corner. So going around the square for the 4th row, every side will be the same as this one. There will be groups of 3 double crochet stitches in the spaces between the groups below. The corners will be the same all the way around. So at this point I have shown you enough that you really shouldn't need more instruction, because every round from here on out is essentially the same. The only difference is that the number of 3DC groups increases by 1 with every row. So here I only have 1 group. In row 2 I have 2 groups. In row 3 I have 3 groups. In row 4 I have 4 groups. And that number of groups is per side and includes the ones that are in the corner chain space. So as you continue going, let's say I were going to continue making this one larger, I would in the corner start with my join and my group of 3 double crochet stitches. Then I would place a group of 3 here, 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 and here. My corner then will be 3 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, and 3 double crochet stitches. So that's how it continues, and you can just keep going. You can make this square as large or as small as you want. You could use a small square like this one as a coaster. You could use this one as maybe a trivet to go under a pot. You could continue going, make it bigger, and it could be a blanket, or you could make it big enough to seam the sides and make it into a shrug. So you can do a lot of things with granny squares. So that is how you crochet a traditional basic granny square.